man. Rock's not dead, it just smells bad.
Hello and welcome to the Rock is Not Dead, It Just Smells Bad podcast, where we are talking about hot topics, unearthing great local music, getting the general public to send in questions which we will listen to and respond in English, and then filling our gobs with cream crackers while singing Bon Jovi.
Yeah, just, normal stuff that we do every night. Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
So, our first topic, the hot topic that Tom mentioned there, is it cool to be a dickhead? Now, what I mean by this is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, throwing TVs out of windows, beefing with other celebrities. Was it ever necessary, and is it still relevant? Okay,
so we're talking like, prime example, Oasis. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind is Oasis. Yeah, it's a tough one because like now I don't think people are into that. I think people prefer someone to be nice. I think like nice is cool rather than being a dick. But I mean back then I guess you could say it did benefit the music. I think it kind of added to the whole image, I guess. It kind of made them come across like these demigods. I don't know, it kind of did create this aura about it. I mean, I don't particularly like it. I mean, I probably wouldn't have wanted to have a conversation with either of them without wanting to blow my brains out when they were in their height of their fame. I think I would have just been like full of themselves, So
you think it's more of like a character or an image?
I think so. I mean, I find it quite hard to believe that someone could be that arrogant and not be acting and not playing on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, there might be that kind of... There might be some arrogance there that's maybe what it stemmed from, but I don't believe that someone can be that arrogant. Yeah, I mean, to kind of go back to the question, really, like, I think it worked for some bands. I think you did have to have talent to back it up, though.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's the only thing that not warrants it being okay. Because I don't really like it, full stop. It's not really something that I'm a fan of, is people just going around being twats. Yeah, you just need talent to back it up. And if you don't, you just become a massive knobhead without anything to redeem yourself with.
Do you think it's kind of genre specific in a way? Like, do you think it matches up to certain types of music? Like, because you don't get many...
well, you wouldn't get like Mumford & Sons being
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get many like bluegrass bands who are massive bellends.
Yeah, no, I think it... Yeah, I mean, I guess like, rock, sometimes pop, depending on what era, I guess.
That tends to be more of a diva thing.
It is more diva-y rather than like...
have you ever heard the stories about like Mariah Carey? Like she has to be like... I don't know if it's true.
I think
I've seen a video where like she literally sits in like a wheelie chair. Not a wheelchair, but like an office chair.
Okay.
And like her like staff are like handing her like mineral water and like pushing her in this chair to the stage. Basically being totally looked after, like she was like some kind of like,
She had no like inability to walk. She could definitely still walk, but just did it because...
Yeah, and like you're just creating a fuss over like the smallest little things and stuff. But I don't know. I think it's true. I hope it's true.
That would be incredible if that was true.
But do you think all these things are like good entertainment, almost in the same way as the music is? You know what I mean? Like you hear these stories and go like, for example, Oasis, like, they were like on a ferry. There's the famous story. They were on a ferry going to Amsterdam or something. Then there were some football hooligans, and like they got into a fight with some football hooligans, and they got arrested on the ferry, and then couldn't make it to their show in wherever it was they were going.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just personally, I'm just like fucking just curb it. Like, why would you do something like that? Like, you've just gone and let down like a boatload of people that are looking forward to go and see you in the show. And I get it. It's kind of funny. I feel like their entire career is kind of like funny shit that you would do when you're drunk and then laugh about it the next day, but then they never sobered up. They just carried on doing it.
Yeah. I think a lot with like the sex, drug and rock and roll thing is it's often stuff that a lot of people idolize because it's what they secretly want to do. Do you think there's a bit of jealousy of like they want to play that character, they want to throw stuff out of hotel windows and like do all sorts of bad stuff?
I mean, I guess it comes down to the point of like, is it genuinely them? Yeah. And I think, because sometimes you can tell if someone's acting, to be someone that they're not. Whereas, like I said before, I do genuinely believe that there was part of the way that Oasis act was actually part of their personality. I don't think they were putting the whole thing on. They were definitely playing off of maybe a small fragment of maybe who they were, and then just accentuating that entire thing. It's kind of like when you go on stage. You're not. No one's that happy You know, when you go on stage, you're not like,
it's like
hey everyone, you know, you're not always going to be like that 100%.
It's like acting or like playing a character.
For sure, yeah. You're just playing on like an emotion or something that I don't know. Yeah, it's like a small fragment of maybe your personality that you just enhance for the sake of whatever, be it PR, be it, you know, attention of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, do you still think it works now? If like there was a new band coming up in the world today and they went around saying that they were God's gift, the best band on the planet, and that every other band was terrible, and that in their spare time they were getting into punch-ups down the pub with, I don't know, football fans, do you think it would work today?
I feel like they'd just be cancelled.
Yeah. It's like that Kanye West quote, is all PR good PR?
Yeah, well, in fact, he said all PR is good PR. So in his mind, he was like, no matter what people say about me, people are still talking about me, I think.
It's funny. It just reminded me of something Ricky Gervais said once.
Okay.
He was talking about like people who wanted to get famous. He was like, well, what advice would you give to people who want to get famous? And he said, kill a prostitute. Because like the whole point is like it doesn't matter what the press is as long as you're famous.
Yeah, I mean if the goal is just to be famous regardless of what it's for, then go for it. Just go and yeah.
I mean, obviously I don't advocate that.
Yeah,
but,
no, of course, you know,
of course. Yeah, that's not what this podcast is.
We don't condone such behavior.
Yes, of course.
But I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think what it has done though is the whole, you know, being a dickhead is definitely like bred a whole load of people who aren't that kind of person but trying to imitate it, and that's when it doesn't work.
Oh, so like people who are like starting out but they think their idea of a successful musician is somebody who acts a certain way that may be acting in sort of negatively, so
for sure.
Trouble.
Them as people, when you speak to them, they're nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they go on stage, they just become someone different, which to everyone does to some extent, but not to the point where it's like that's an entirely different person, and I dislike that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it and you want to be this dickhead, you've got to be a dickhead all the time. Like Oasis.
Like you need to have some kind of authenticity to it, otherwise it just comes off as fake.
It's just gonna come across as just. You're just trying too hard. It's a try hard thing.
Yeah, it's a try hard thing.
You're trying too hard, and it really doesn't work. I remember seeing a band. I won't name who they are. I mean, there's quite a few of them actually that come into mind. Actually, now that I'm thinking,
same.
You know, and they're not bad. They're not bad bands.
Yeah,
but they're just, I'd say, you know, average, above average, and then because there's nothing musically brilliant, they go and then say some outlandish things. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. You don't have anything to back up that.
Yeah. I fear that sometimes a lot of bands think it's like a substitute for substance in the writing or in the performance.
Yeah, what we lack in talent we'll make up for in being a twat.
Yeah, exactly. Like just kind of causing a lot of noise and thinking that'll cover up or just like create some notoriety even that they can trade off. It's just like
for me, it just seems like a desperate attempt to be relevant.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think, again, in that aspect where, you know, if you haven't got incredible songwriting or you haven't got whatever it is, a really, really good live show or whatever, you know, if whatever it is that you're lacking, you can't make up for that by just being a dick.
Yeah, I mean, I think my sort of opinion on it is it tends to be a tool for attention a lot of the time.
I think
whether it be like, I don't know, it creates some notoriety for marketing or whatever, or you just feel that maybe you're trying to make up for some lack of substance, or if you just think that's what somebody who's successful does. It's just trying to,
I think, like I said, it's just bred, you know, the whole Oasis thing and whatever. It's just bred a load of people that, you know, that don't really understand the entire character and why they were doing it, and they just think, oh well, if I be a dickhead, I'll get more, you know, more views, or I'll get more this, and really they haven't actually understood the whole concept and reasoning behind doing it. But I mean, that's a whole other thing. But to try and sum up your question, I don't think anyone would get away with it now. I think they'd just be straight up cancelled. I do think it works if you have incredible talent to back it up. However, I still think you probably still could have done as well had you not been a dickhead.
That's kind of what I was getting at. I was like, can you still do as well?
I think so.
Yeah. Was it ever necessary? Like, couldn't they have just gone to bed with an Ovaltine at 8:00 and just left the poor hotel cleaners alone and let them have an easy morning?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not snorted like, you know, a handful of cocaine.
That's something as well, man. Like, I think...
Well, if they want to do it, just crack on.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
I can't speak for everyone in the current scene, but there's not as much like excess as there used to be.
No, I don't think so. I think everyone's
calmed down.
Then I suppose you could argue on the other hand of that like, you know, for a lot of people that was their way of having fun.
Yeah,
and I think the definition of fun has changed over the last few decades, maybe. I think fun. Well, that was the thing. To have fun was to just go do a lot of coke or to go do whatever, get fucking wasted, go and smash some shit up, just talk shit about people, go and have a fight with someone, and it's just like that was their idea of fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, whereas I think now, I mean, like personally, like I mean, that's never been who I am anyway. But for me, I mean, it's gonna sound like such a, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck, pussy. That's the one. Yeah.
That was not what I was expecting.
No, I mean, it wasn't really what my first thought was, but it's, there we are.
Yeah.
For me, just going on stage and then seeing people going fucking mad, jumping around, singing lyrics back, for me, that's like, that's euphoria for me.
Yeah.
I'm on stage, I'm like, fucking hell, what is going on? And that feeling is definitely enough for me to not want to do all that other shit. Not that I would do it anyway.
Yeah, well, I think maybe what it comes from is like you have that like euphoric feeling of like, take like a band from the 80s, they've just played to like a stadium of like a couple 10,000 people, and everyone's chanting it back to them, and they're like really, really buzzed and stuff, but then they want to just keep that high up, and maybe they drink and then they do loads of drugs and then they
try and heighten that thing. Where in reality, I feel like the feeling alone is enough.
I've always felt it is like
100%.
Yeah, just doing shows and just getting off.
And if it's not good enough, then work harder.
Yeah, do a better show.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think if that feeling, if you don't get that feeling from a show that you've played, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go and get drunk so I can try and find that feeling. It's like, well, clearly something's not working in the show itself, so therefore you need to go back, rethink, and work out why you weren't getting that feeling. And if you chase that feeling in a healthy way, there's nothing wrong with that.
Something I always find strange as well with this is with every other job on the planet, every other line of work, people, if they were doing the things these big rock stars from the past were doing, they'd be like, their family,
they wouldn't have even gone past the interview stage for a lot of jobs.
I mean, they get fired from their job and their friends would have an intervention and they'd probably end up in rehab the next day.
But for some reason, if you're a musician, it's deemed
cool.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's people think it's like cool to hear about. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But then you look at people, I mean, say for example, I mean, like, not that he was a knob, but he did a lot of drugs. It was like Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, well, he did the most drugs of anyone on the planet.
Exactly. So. But the point of like chasing that feeling, again, I don't know why he was doing. I don't know his whole story or whatever. But he's a bit fried now.
Yeah.
Like he's. I mean, if he'll probably turn around and say, "Well, I had a great life. I don't regret any of it.
Yeah.
I did as much drugs as humanly possible. I had the best time, and that's his idea of a good time. And obviously, I'm not trying to shut anyone's idea of a good time. However, it's like I look at someone like that, and I'm like, fuck. I don't want to end up like that.
I mean, I don't think I could do it because you got things like every day for decades. Almost.
I mean, fucking good for you, man. But it's just
whatever floats your boat.
That's
it, man.
That is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. Do you know what I read his autobiography once? Ozzy Osbourne's. Just some of the stuff in there is insane, man. Like there was this one story about like he was in his big mansion in LA or Hollywood or whatever, and him and his friends were doing some coke or whatever, and they got really paranoid. And then I think it was along the lines of they heard a noise and it was someone at the door, and they immediately assumed it was the police, and then snorted about like. Just imagine like
a bowl, wasn't it?
Like a big bowl that you would keep
like keys or something.
You keep like potpourri in or something.
What's potpourri?
Oh, that smelly dried flower stuff.
We're not all as fancy as Dan Weaver over here, apparently. Yeah. I've never heard of potpourri.
Yeah, didn't you know I'm middle class? Yeah, no, but it's just a big fucking bowl.
A big bowl.
Yeah,
Thank you. We're on the same page.
A bucket of cocaine, like a ridiculous amount, and they snorted the entire amount. They didn't flush it or anything. They just did all of it there and then.
Wow.
And then they just like went to the door, and it turned out to be like his mate who he forgot he was coming over. Or something. It's a funny read. I recommend it.
The stories sound great. I think I've got all I needed from that book. From just that one story.
Yeah, it's the gist.
Yeah, I think that's the gist of it. He did a lot of drugs, and now he can't wipe his own ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's the general gist.
In conclusion, is it cool to be a dickhead?
30 years ago, yes. Okay. Now, no.
I think my opinion on it is when it was something new and different and rebellious, yes, to an extent, but it went a bit excessive for me. But nowadays, no. I think people want from a musician like them to be relatable, like
almost like a role model, because especially a lot of kids, I think as well, will kids love music. Kids love listening to music, and they don't understand maybe the reason behind the songs, but they understand when they see someone on TV acting a certain way, and that can influence them. And so it's I think.
Well, I think you just need to look at the most popular artists in the world, like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
he's
typically one of the
arguably just a lovely bloke, kind of bloke that you could just hang out with.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be a good. And he's nice. You guys have a pint with,
and he's quite chilled out. And he's overall a lovely guy.
I agree. I mean, same with like in rock as well. There's the other side of like Dave Grohl.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the nicest guy in rock.
I'll tell you what, I would love to have a barbecue with that man.
Yeah,
he just seems like.
I just love him to like hug me, cradle me.
Yeah. I bet he smells great. Like he's just been marinating something.
Yeah. Like ferret, that's what I was thinking of.
He smells of ferret.
Yeah.
You heard it first, guys.
No, not smells of ferret. Oh, maybe he does.
Ferret.
Oh, what are we on about? Right. So the next point is where we take questions from the general public. So the general public being my mum.
Yeah, so I think one of the questions is actually just my girlfriend, and I don't think my mum even wrote in. So yeah, thanks, mum.
Cool. Right, we've got a few here. One just says arse. Oh, that was me. I said arse just to see if it works.
Is it arse exclamation point?
No, it's just
question
arse. Mark? Just arse.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite show you've ever played?
The favorite show that I have ever played. Do you know what? I don't know what it was about it, but our recent show at Misfits, I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like for anyone who's not familiar, Misfits is a great little club in Cardiff that was open fairly recently. Started doing live music.
Post-pandemic.
Yeah, post-pandemic. It was kind of our first. Well, it was our first headline show in almost 2 years because of the pandemic. Like, and everyone was just so up for it.
Yeah,
like there was like 200-300 people there. It was really full, and even like. The first band on, who were incredible, Terrapins. The first
Shout
band
out to
on,
them.
They were incredible.
They were class.
Absolutely loved them. They got like mosh pits going.
I've never seen that in a sport band, by the way.
The first
band that coming on, for them to like be getting people going mental is like
Yeah, it was incredible. Then we had our friends Skinny Knowledge on, and they were incredible. Same
first
thing.
Class.
The
First
energy
class.
for the whole night. I've not moshed so much in years, and that's before we've even played.
Yeah.
And then we get on stage, like people are getting thrown onto the stage because they're moshing and like crowd surfing.
Yeah, Ellis getting his ass out, crowd surfing, good man.
Yeah, people are singing the words back and everything, and it was just a great energy in the room.
Cool.
It's one of my most recent favorites.
Yeah, all right, I'll second that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, you can have a look at these and see, have a scroll, pick one.
Okay.
See if there's anything that you like that you want to discuss.
Okay.
There's a couple of questions.
Yeah, there's
some serious, some not.
Yeah, there's some good. There's
Go
some
on,
good
hit
ones
me,
here.
hit me.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay. When making a bolognese.
I know what you're going to ask.
Yeah. This has been a contentious topic for us for quite a while.
It's borderline me kicking him out of the band situation.
Well, me no longer being your friend as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I can have you in my house if I make a bolognese.
No.
But yes, when you make a bolognese, do you have all the pasta mixed in, or do you have it separate?
Do you mean the bolognese now?
Yes.
So I'll explain it really quickly. So do you either you have spaghetti cooked in a separate thing,
yes,
and you put spaghetti in your bowl after you drained it, and then you have bolognese in a separate thing, and then you just put the bolognese on top, so it's more of like the aesthetic version. It looks a lot nicer, I would say.
So you have completely unseasoned bland pasta, and then you just pour a little bit of bolognese on top, or do you mix it in and get all those flavors all mixed in and lovely?
Well, I think you know which side we're on from the way we've described this argument. So I prefer it to look good, and then I can choose the quantity of the bolognese versus pasta.
Okay.
So I can choose. If it's all mixed in, it's like I have no choice as to how much bolognese and pasta I'm getting in my mouth. I can, it's just a big mush. It looks horrible. Doesn't look as good.
Okay.
We had this argument. So we're not going to get into it too much. So the idea is that I would say that you've got A, which is the more presentable version, and then B, I would say A. You obviously would say B.
Yeah, but is there ever a point where you just have the unmixed in spaghetti or pasta?
No, because you can just get a bit of bolognese from top.
Yeah, but then why not mix it all in?
Because maybe I want loads on one fork, and actually that was a bit too much. Therefore, I'm going to take a little bit less.
Oh man,
I've got the option.
I just don't know. I just don't know.
You don't, do you?
No.
Well, we're never going to resolve this issue.
No,
so
I mean, I think we're going to be talking about this for the next few decades.
Easily. Okay.
Probably.
If you could take credit for writing any song in history, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, there's some great songs.
You could go one of two ways. You could go musically, just something that really you just like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Or do you think, what song has made the most money?
Do you know what? from a musical point of view, I know what it is, absolutely. It's my favourite song, like I Wish by Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Like musically, it just blows my mind every time. Like that bass line that's like dum 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 dum, and like the
good bass lines of Stevie Wonder stuff.
The different harmonies with the guitars and like the horn section stabs. And the chorus is just so joyful and it just grooves so nicely. And there's some like great like chord voicings and everything. It's just a really well put together song. Like musically, that would be the one.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think I can't remember what it was. I think if this is correct or not, but Eminem is one of the highest earning artists, or was at one point. I don't know.
Okay, I mean he's big. He was.
But like
so
one
big
of his songs, I think, was like at one point was like one of the it grossed the most amount of money. That like in history. So for that reason, I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, Eminem. But I would go for one of his. Musically, probably like Bohemian Rhapsody, something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty impressive one. I think from a money point of view, I remember hearing something funny. You know, Noddy Holder, the guy that wrote, you know, the Christmas song that starts like "It's Christmas." Yeah. Basically, he said, I saw an interview with him, like. He mostly earns all of his money from that song. He gets like £500,000 from it every year, like clockwork.
That's crazy.
And he has done for the past.
Yeah, I mean Christmas song. If you're gonna be,
for like the past 40 years.
Incredible.
Like they had some other good songs, but no massive hit songs. But it's just that one. He's lived off it forever.
Incredible. Right, quick one.
Yeah.
What is your favourite packet of Walker's crisps?
Ooh. Maybe Worcester sauce or the bacon one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Controversial. I would either say cheese and onion or salt and vinegar.
Bit basic though.
It is a bit basic, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I do. Also
let's not. We can go on.
Mate, I can talk about crisps all night.
Okay. Last one. Yeah. Dream tour lineup.
Dream tour lineup.
So let's say we've got, we headline, and then
are we in the tour or?
Yeah, why not? We're headlining, and then you've got two support acts who's supporting.
Dream bands to
tour with.
I'd say probably Royal Blood as a first, just because I love them so much, and I've heard they're really nice boys. And maybe Nothing But Thieves as well, just because I think they have a great live sound, incredible songs.
Cool.
Yeah, I think those would be my first two go-tos.
Yeah, okay. I'd go Muse.
Yeah.
Purely because it's one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I would... Nothing But Thieves and Royal Blood would tie in with me. I think either one of those would be insane. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, cool. Right, Instagram is done. We now move on to a game, which is basically we have to hold some water in our mouth, and then we have to try and hum. I guess you call it hum.
Yeah, I mean, we
have to gargle a song, and the other person that doesn't have water in their mouth has to guess what it is. So, do you want to go first?
Oh, fuck, if I must.
Yeah, you must.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is going to feel like I'm going to get waterboarded.
Yeah, but, let's do it.
Okay,
cool.
Fucking hell.
Just pick a song.
Yeah,
and
I've got a song. I've got a song.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, ready? Mate, I have no idea. I genuinely have no clue. Okay, I give up. What is it? I want you to do it again. What is it?
Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi.
Oh, fuck.
Did you not recognize the part where he goes...
Oh, fuck. Right. I'm going to go for something simple, right?
That was horrible.
Okay.
Fuck. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. I mean, I don't really have much to go on.
Fuck it. It's meant to be Twinkle Twinkle.
No, do you know what? I was going to guess Bar Bar Black Sheep, actually. Yeah.
Oh, they're both the same song. So it's fine. Yeah, 1 point to you. Cool. Right. I honestly can't even do another one of those. So cool. That game's ended.
No, come on. We can do
fine.
another one.
One more.
We'll do one more.
One more.
We'll do
go
one
on.
More. Okay, I'll do one more if it makes you feel better.
Okay, go for it.
I think the key is not to have like a lot of water in there.
Yeah.
You know
okay.
What I mean? Okay.
No.
Oh, did you get splashed?
I got splashed.
Oh, that was Hello by Lionel Richie.
Oh, that could have been anything.
Did you
could have been anything?
But I went.
No. No. Okay. No, that's not working.
Oh man, come on, you can do it. Is it Psycho by Muse?
Fuck yes, it is.
Is it actually?
It is, mate. Yeah. Okay, great. That was. I kind of got the hang of it then.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do one more, just for a laugh. I'll do another one.
Okay.
I'll do another one. It's a very famous song from a famous movie. That's your clue.
Why did that sound like a fart?
Any guesses? Anything, just guess.
Star Wars.
You get your guess is Star Wars.
No.
No, it was The Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Oh, fuck off. No, it wasn't.
From Titanic. Yeah.
No, I know the song, yeah.
Near, far, wherever you are.
Yeah. I know the song. That wasn't it.
Oh, I've got tears in my eyes.
That one, though, genuinely sounded like a fart.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Okay, right. I think, okay. So I would like to end by talking about, real quick, favorite local artist / song that they've released, maybe from the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, so the idea is local artists, maybe people who are unsigned.
Yeah.
You know, they can be small, maybe new or been around for a little while. Just releasing stuff who we're really impressed with. Maybe we've seen them live as well.
Deserves more recognition.
And deserves deserves more recognition.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So my first, they're a fantastic band.
Fantastic band.
They're a fantastic
This is a
band.
fantastic pompery. What's it called? Pompupery. Poupage.
Whatever that is, that's
the thing that you pomper the bowl of stuff.
Potpourri.
Poupage. Carry on.
Poupele. Right.
Yeah.
So
go for
my
it.
choice for this podcast would be a great band called Finding Aurora.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good friend of the podcast. Well, friend of ours. He may not like the podcast.
This is the first episode, so we have no idea whether he is a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
We hope he would be a friend of the podcast.
Yeah, that remains to be seen.
Yes.
But yeah, Finding Aurora, great band, and their song "Kick Around,"
That's the
which
one.
I really, really liked. I've told Sam so many times how much I love it, and just
does slap.
There's a great use of melody in the chorus. The guitar sound throughout the whole thing, just incredible. Just really sort of just heavy, like, how do you describe it? It's kind of, a lot of it's kind of Foo Fighters-y in terms of
definitely like a big
inspiration. Big influence
I think.
But some great sort of growly vocals and just all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, I think I tracked that song with them, so like I recorded and produced
you
that
produced
one.
it, didn't you?
But yeah, I think it was good. I think Sam's vocals definitely like improved a lot since I've known him. 'Cause I think like I've maybe released like 2 or 3 songs now, I think, with them. And yeah, I think just his voice is kind of growing in a way that he didn't have access to that kind of that shouty thing without it kind of coming across too like squeaky, or it was or maybe he couldn't get the shoutiness at all and it just came across like just nice melody. And I think in that song he kind of got it. He kind of got that whole, you know.
It's a really nice balance of like sort of vocals being pushed to the edge, but also like really clever melodies.
It doesn't sound
really
too like screamo. It
doesn't
sound too like, you know, like he's shouting.
Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, it works well. So
and
totally,
also like
totally agree.
incredible live band. You know, we've seen them a few times. I remember the first time I saw them. We were both in the front row, and Sam's doing this great thing. Sam's a guitarist as well as a singer, and he's getting audience members to put their hand on the guitar, and he's playing with his right hand, and it was just a fun thing to watch. And
it was sounded like shit, but because obviously the audience have no idea what they're doing. But I mean, it was great fun to watch.
I mean, how cool is that? And I just moshing and crowd surfing and having a great time.
Good. It was really good.
It's a party. I recommend going to see him.
Yeah, I remember we all lifted him up whilst he was still playing guitar, I think for a solo and something. And he was, I think they were in boiler suits, which was good. All white boiler suits.
All white boiler suits.
Just
any venue, anytime you ever get a chance to see them, I would 100% recommend it. And listen to Kick Around on Spotify.
Yeah, Kick Around is the song.
Finding Aurora, yes.
Yeah, well, we'll link all that. So yeah, big up Sam. Finding Aurora. Yeah. My choice, I'll be quick, is, I mean, I've always shouted about these guys. I think they're probably musically just one of the best bands locally, and they're even better than a lot of bigger bands that I've seen. Yeah, you know who I'm going to say.
I think I do know who you're going to say.
CBC.
Fucking great.
I think they're all incredibly good musicians. Songwriting's great. They don't take themselves too seriously, which I like.
And they've got a great sort of vibe and image as well. I remember
very retro.
Did you come to the show in upstairs?
The Jungle Fever launch.
Yeah, the Jungle Fever launch.
Club.
They decorated the whole of this venue to look like a jungle. So there's fake vines up and everything, and everyone had to come in costumes, and they're wearing.
There was a dress code, which is the first time I've seen that for a show.
Yeah, and
you all had to wear what was it, just jungle themed?
Yeah, jungle themed stuff.
Yeah,
and they dressed great,
pattern suits,
loads going on, and cheetah skin furs and all that
it was class.
Stuff.
I think just musically they're ace, and then incredibly good live band. They're tight as fuck. I mean, I've raved about them a lot before, but so my shout out is to them. And it's weird, they're one of the bands that their best stuff hasn't been released yet.
Absolutely.
So I've been to some of their shows. Well, I've been to 2 or 3. I've seen them play Tramshed when they played in a festival, and maybe Porters as well or something.
Yeah.
But I remember some of their best songs, and even the ones that are probably the most popular, they've only become popular because people have just gone to see them live.
Yeah.
And there's no way anyone can listen to them. It's just you have to go to the songs. So people are singing it, and that's a testament, I think, to how good the songs are, because they've not had anywhere to listen to it in their spare time. They've just had to remember. They take videos or whatever, I guess. But
Yeah, it's funny. I know the song you're talking about, and it's not out on
a Super Heineken bike.
Yeah, Super Heineken bike. But it's you go to a show and there'll be 200-300 people there, and they all know it.
Yeah,
word
bonkers.
for word.
That's
for word.
huge,
and it's not even released
for a local act.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd love them to release that song. I love that song.
Yeah, well, I think they've got an album in the works, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I hope so. I would love to hear that.
I would love to hear that album. But so that's my shout out. That's my shout out for local artists.
But they do have stuff on Spotify, right?
They do. They have Jungle Fever and Mortgage Anthem, which is another good song actually.
Good song.
But I think that's all they've got, and I want more. Give me more.
Yeah.
More songs.
Please, CBC.
More songs, please. So that concludes the first episode of Rock's Not Dead, It Just Smells Bad podcast. My name is Tom Auton.
My name is Dan Weaver.
And we hope you know your name.
Yeah, and we hope with some heavy editing that might be a little funny.
Yes.
Or interesting.
Okay,
maybe.
Well, Merry Christmas, and
to all a good night.
To all a good night, poupage.
Yeah, poupage.
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 Pojoie. Past tense of sick.
Sack.
Yeah. Correct.
Good night.
Good night.
Rock's dead, man. Rock's not dead, it just smells bad.